Let's dig into the rags that we use here at Weber Cleaning. We're going to start with microfiber, and I want to really dig in deep to explain microfiber to you, just in case you don't understand. Microfiber cloths are made up of polyester and nylon fibers, different variations for different cloths, but they take these fibers and they create large strands with them. Then they weave them together and split them up to 100,000 times based on the brand. And when they split them, they become up to 200 times smaller than a human hair. And when they split them like that and make them that tiny, what it does is create all sorts of surfaces and little fibers that will grab onto and pick up what we're wiping on the surfaces of sinks and toilets and counters. These fibers are split so that they're actually even smaller than viruses and bacteria themselves. So that's why we say it can pick up 99 to 99.9% of all viruses and bacteria on the surfaces that we are cleaning, just with water, no chemical needed. The flour sack towel is made up of 100% cotton, and it's typically more of a cotton muslin, so the weave is different on it and we get less lint. But the purpose of a cotton flour sack towel is to absorb moisture when we're wiping things like windows or sinks or drying off areas before we polish them. The polishing cloth we use, we also call an e-cloth. And an e-cloth has the same general makeup as a microfiber cleaning cloth. It is made of polyester and nylon. The difference is in the weave. It's what we call a flat weave. So the fibers aren't sticking out and grabbing onto things the way a regular cleaning cloth does. The flat weave allows the microfiber to absorb moisture only, or absorb grease only, absorb fingerprints, absorb whatever it is that we're trying to wipe, but it's not actually grabbing on. That's why it's our finishing cloth. That's why we use it at the end of whatever we're cleaning to kind of give it that final shine. It's good for computer screens. It's great for polishing faucets and windows, as you'll see in the video ahead. So it's a really easy method to use the pre-soak method when cleaning with microfiber. If you have a cart, or if you're going to be using a lot of microfiber rags over the course of your shift, it's best if you take your cleaning bucket, put half a gallon of water in it, mix your chemical, and then place a whole stack of folded clean rags inside of your water. That way, as you're cleaning, you grab a fresh rag, you wring it out, and off you go with your wiping. When that rag stops picking up, then you go ahead and you put that one in your dirty bag or on your cart in your dirty laundry. You grab a fresh rag out of the bucket, wring it out, and off you go. Now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of how to actually use these rags. I recommend starting by folding your rag. When you fold it up, just as you saw me do, fold it in half and then half again, it creates kind of a smaller surface area. It's a little bit easier to hold your rag and to wipe as you go to create that small square. And then what happens is you can flip the rag over and then you kind of have a new surface to start wiping with that hasn't picked up any dirt or grime yet. It helps you to go just a little bit farther with your cleaning, but always remember we have tons and tons of rags, so never hesitate to just start with a new rag. But folding it in this method gives you a few more surface areas to use before you have to go ahead and throw that in the dirty rags. We've talked a lot about windows here, but let's touch base on it once again while we're talking about microfiber. It's important to take your microfiber and wipe down your window or your mirror first. That gets the big stuff off. That's what our microfiber is meant to do, is to pick up the big chunks of dirt and dust and grime, potential rocks or sand or lint, anything that might be on there. We're going to use the flour sack to absorb the majority of the moisture off of our window or our surface before we go ahead and polish it with that e-cloth. The flour sack does a little bit of polishing itself. Then we go ahead and we finish off with our flat weave e-cloth. And that just absorbs anything that still might be on the window, remembering to wipe that surface until there is zero resistance. When there is no resistance with your e-cloth, that means you have picked up everything that is still on the surface of the window or the sink or the faucet all of the above. We're gonna go ahead and follow this same process when we're wiping sinks and countertops. For example, in this break room, we have a stainless steel sink with a chrome faucet and we have countertop around it. We're gonna start by wiping all of those surfaces with this microfiber cloth. It's gonna get the big stuff. It's gonna get that dirt that gets left behind, the soap that gets dropped on the countertop, the coffee that gets dumped in the sink, or even hot cocoa that gets dumped down the sink and there's no rinsing going on. So that's what the microfiber is for. Then you're gonna wanna follow up with drying your countertops, either with a microfiber or a flour sack, and buffing the sinks and faucets with either a flour sack or an e-cloth. Both will work. What you're doing is absorbing any leftover moisture, and that is going to create a shiny surface. What you'll find is that slowly over time, your sink will get cleaner and cleaner if you polish it after each and every cleaning. Taking the same concept again to the bathroom, we are going to start with a fresh microfiber rag out of our pre-treated bucket. That way we have lots of fresh, clean surfaces to clean our bathroom. We're gonna wring it out really good. Remember, microfiber absorbs a lot, but if it's full of water, it doesn't have anything more to absorb or ability to pick it up. So we wanna go ahead and wring it out really good so there's moisture, but not sopping wet at all. In every room, we wanna think from top to bottom. The cleanest areas are always up the highest. So we're gonna start with our mirror. It's gonna be the least amount of dirt. Start with our microfiber, get the big stuff off, dry the majority of it with our flour sack towel, and then go ahead and finish polishing with our e-cloth, finish absorbing all of the moisture and shine it to streak free. Then we're gonna move on to our soap dispensers and our paper towel holders. They do gather a significant amount of dust. You wanna wipe underneath that paper towel dispenser. I miss that once in a while, and gets that little lint from the ripped off towels. Then go ahead and wipe the wall underneath the paper towel dispenser. The drips from your hands will always run down those walls and they will get dirty over a short amount of time. So wipe that every single time. Then go ahead to your sink. I would say that's the next area to clean. You're gonna wash all of the grime out, remembering to fold your towel in between, okay? Flip to a new surface anytime that you feel like you need to do that. Anytime you don't feel that it's really picking things up, it's just more moving them around, that's when you wanna fold it and find a clean surface, or go ahead and start with a new rag. Once I get about that far, I wanna go ahead and dry everything that I just wiped with my flour sack. You can use an e-cloth. Flour sack is just a little bit easier. Sometimes there's more surface area. And you wanna dry each of those areas so that they can go ahead and dry streak free and we don't have to come back and see our fingerprints or streaks on any of those surfaces. It's gonna be a really important thing for your clients. They are going to appreciate it a lot, okay? Then go ahead and follow the surfaces around the bathroom from cleanest to dirtiest, right? So we've got a diaper changing table. It's gonna gather some dust. The garbage can lid's gonna gather some dust. Then we move on to the toilet. Toilet, follow that same concept. We wanna start at the top. The top of the bowl is gonna be the cleanest area, the back of the bowl. Don't ever forget the handle. You wanna spray it down if you need to, add any disinfectant as needed. This was an extremely dirty toilet, if you remember from the bathroom video, and so I sprayed an awful lot. But then go ahead and follow that same process. You're gonna do the same thing with urinals. Urinals, don't ever forget to wipe the wall behind them or the wall above them. Getting all of those surface areas with the microfiber and then going ahead and buffing dry with that flour sack towel. We are gonna go ahead and apply this same concept to countertops or desks in our offices, our common areas, our resource rooms, our copy rooms, everything like that. You're gonna wanna wipe everything down with the microfiber. We used to follow the spray method where you sprayed and then you wiped behind yourself, but we don't do that anymore for the safety of all of the items on our clients' desks. So we're gonna take our wet rag and we are gonna wipe. Remember, we want to move things. We want to get behind things. We wanna wipe the tops of things. Anywhere dust is gonna settle, we wanna wipe it off for them. So go ahead and follow that process, wiping around their desk without spraying, without getting things sopping wet. We don't wanna damage things. We don't wanna move everything and pile it up. Each location is gonna probably have a little bit different method for this. The main point is that we take the microfiber to wipe everything down on their desk and follow up by drying the surface behind us to get it streak free and make sure that we aren't leaving any pools of water on their desk. Ultimately, the same rules apply to electronics, but I want to touch base with it here because you'll want your microfiber to be barely moist at all. just moist enough that it can get the fingerprints and any dust off the surface, and then you follow up with the e-cloth, making sure to dry everything completely before moving on. The last thing is how to take care of our rags. I cannot stress this enough. Do not overload the wash machine. No more than 25 rags per load. This goes for microfiber and e-cloth. Never wash on a hot or sanitizing cycle, as microfiber is plastic and you'll melt the fibers together and destroy the rags. Lastly, we don't even really need to dry them, but if you do put them in the dryer, put them on a low heat or even air dry. This process of cleaning rings true for every location and every surface we clean at Weber Cleaning. Sometimes you need 2 rags before you can dry. Sometimes we need a scrub brush before we can go ahead and wipe it clean, but ultimately the process is the same. I hope this video has taught you something and makes you more of a professional.